We often measure success by what we can build, earn, and control. It is the default architecture of our world. You work hard, you climb the ladder, and you acquire the leverage to protect your interests. 2,000 years ago, the religious elites operated on this same logic. Scribes and scholars spent their lives pursuing intellectual mastery and enforcing outward performance. For them, holiness was an achievement, a status you could earn and certify. When thousands of people gathered on a sweeping hillside in Galilee to hear a teacher from Nazareth, most expected a predictable moral lesson. Instead, they received a manifesto that dismantled their world. Over the course of 3 chapters in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus overturns our assumptions about power, ethics, and religion. He does not offer a refined set of rules for the existing system. He introduces an entirely different one. What if the metrics we use to measure a flourishing life, or even a successful religious life, are actually backwards? Right here on this hillside, Jesus opens his Sermon on the Mount with the Beatitudes. He looks out at the crowd and declares a blessing over the exact people the world typically ignores or pities. Jesus identifies the poor in spirit, the Greek word for destitution. The kingdom belongs to those who arrive empty-handed, recognizing they have zero spiritual currency to offer God. He fills the hungry, while those who believe they are already full are sent away empty. Real spiritual flourishing begins when our self-sufficiency runs out. It takes root in the recognition of need rather than the celebration of achievement. Once he defines success, Jesus targets our baseline for ethics. We are conditioned to follow a pattern of reciprocity. We are kind to the kind, and we love the people who love us back. Jesus severs the connection between a person's merit and the love they receive. He commands his followers to love their enemies and pray for those who persecute them. God causes his sun to rise and the rain to fall on the just and unjust alike. His grace ignores merit. If our goodwill stops at the boundary of people who treat us well, our love is indistinguishable from ordinary human affection. Kingdom ethics require mirroring the non-discriminatory character of the Father toward a world that is often hostile to him. Finally, Jesus takes aim at religious performance. He contrasts the verbose theological grandstanding expected of the scribes with a radically simple model for prayer. He instructs them to address the creator of the universe as Father, specifically using the Aramaic, Abba. This is the word of a child to a parent. Jesus replaces transactional rituals with the direct personal trust of a family relationship. In this structure, God's reality precedes human needs. The first petitions have no human subject, forcing a reorientation toward God's purposes. When the prayer turns to us, requesting daily bread trains the person in constant dependence, receiving enough for today from God's hand. True piety grounds the believer in daily reliance on God's reality rather than our own spiritual status. Jesus closes the Sermon on the Mount with the parable of the 2 builders. This is the moment he delivers his final ultimatum. Both men in the story heard the exact same words. The distinction lies in the doing. The man who hears and does is the one on the rock, while the man who hears and does not is the one whose house collapses into the sand. This was the trap for the scribes. You can take perfectly accurate notes, master the Hebrew background, and still be the foolish man. The storm is coming, and your evaluation of the sermon will not save you. You actually have to build the house. The storm is coming, and your evaluation of the sermon will not save you. You actually have to build the house.